Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It is Palestine here. I wanted to go ahead and make you another video since it is my day off. And for those individuals who watched my video yesterday when I was saying that I was worried that my scar might be infected, last night what I did was, before I went into the hospital for the operation, they gave me some antibacterial lotion. So when I took my bath, I took the antibacterial lotion and I washed my hands with it a little bit, and then I splashed a little bit of it on the scar to put a little bit of the antibacterial lotion on the scar to get rid of any bacteria that might be present. And it does feel a little bit better this morning. And I read yesterday on the internet, Google, that it takes several years for a scar to resolve. So I'll just keep every day when I have my bath using that antibacterial lotion and splashing a little bit of it on the scar just to try to keep the bacteria off of it. And that's what was given to me by the hospital for my operation. And so we'll just have to be really careful. I'm also not wearing my normal underwear bra. I don't know if you can tell. I'm just wearing a little stretchy thing that's almost like a tube top. So on my day off, I'll just wear a stretchy thing that's almost like a tube top, and hopefully that will be not cause damage to my breast, but you might be able to tell that I'm not wearing my normal underwear bra today. I have to, be careful about the scars. And so on my days off, I wear a stretchy thing. And then when I'm working, I'll wear an underwear bra. But hopefully I don't have to go back into work until Monday. So I'll have like 3 days more for the scar to improve. So it's really bad. It's not easy. I don't want to have another operation. And then whenever I go back to the doctor next month, I'm going to tell him I don't want another operation. I'm going to tell him that I had a really hard time with the scars. And because I'm diabetic, I'm really prone to infections. And the scar was really painful. And I'm going to say I don't want another operation. I don't know what he's going to say about that, but I definitely don't want them removing any more lymph nodes, because that's in a bad place. It's like right here. It's in a bad place. So that's it for my scar. And what I wanted to talk about in this video is that I wanted to talk about this friend of mine. Well, she's not my friend anymore. And obviously I can't say her name. But her first initial is C, so I'll just call her C. And basically I met her when I was in the United States Air Force in the 1980s, or maybe even 1990s and 1980s. And she was from Idaho. And I was stationed at Brunson City in the Netherlands, and she was stationed in Gardenkirchen. And then so I would take courses with the University of Maryland, and that's how I met her, taking courses with the University of Maryland when I drove over to Gardenkirchen Air Base. And so basically, we became friends, and we were both interested in a lot of the same things. We were interested in spirituality and things like that. But she may say she's interested in spirituality, but she's definitely not a spiritual person, not after what happened. And then so I thought she was my best friend. I loved her like a sister. She was a sister to me. Well, I wasn't a sister to her, and I found that out. And but anyway, so we knew each other, and then she got married to this guy that was a Reiki master, and he had an addiction. The reason why he had an addiction is because when he was a child, he had been, his father had gone off to war in World War II. And so he was left there with the mother. And the mother did things to him. So I can't say what it was that she did to him because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. But she did do things to him. And then so as a result of this, this caused him to have an addiction. And in addition to that, when the father came back from the war in Germany, obviously he threw a hissy fit. This Ricky Master threw a hissy fit. And then they put him in a mental institution, and he stayed in a mental institution for years. And so the mother obviously never had told the father that she did things to him. And then so they kept him in this mental institution for a really long time. And then after, I think maybe 3 years or something, they let him out. And then so when he got out of the mental institution, he was never the same after that. He was never close to his parents. He treated both of them distantly. And he told me all this. And then basically this things that she did to him caused him to have an addiction. And so basically all he wanted was to do one thing, you can guess. And he wanted to do it several hours a day. And so basically, even though I was friends with this lady, C, I couldn't do anything about the fact that he wanted to do one thing 3 or 4 hours a day. And so basically it drove her crazy. And she said that the only way that she could get out of doing that one thing 3 or 4 hours a day was to say she had a headache. And then if she didn't do it, then he would be in a bad mood because that's all he wanted to do. And she said that because he has an addiction, it was an addiction. And she'd be laying in bed and he'd be doing things to her. And she'd be crying because she couldn't get out of it. She'd be crying because she couldn't get out of it. And she had to do it. And finally, she had problems with her daughter. And then he said he didn't want the daughter in the house because the daughter wouldn't do what she was told and stuff like that. And so she just said, well, if you don't want my daughter in the house, I'm leaving. But she just wanted a reason to leave. But basically what she did was she went back into the military as a reservist. So she went back into the military as a reservist. So she was able to actually retire from the military because she got to go back in as a reservist. But I never did that. I got out of the military and I stayed out, And so I remember she wanted me to go visit her in Germany. I just left my ex-husband and she wanted me to visit her in Germany, and I wanted to bring my boyfriend with me, and she said no. And then she just broke up the friendship, and I didn't understand what she was doing, but she just withdrew the offer for me to visit her, and she broke up the friendship. And I never really heard from her again. I tried over the years to find her, to get in touch with her, but I never could find her. And then finally, when I was at Foster Wheeler, surprise, surprise, she contacted me. Well, she said she contacted me, but she said she couldn't even remember my last name. So if she couldn't remember my last name, then there was no way that she could get my email address. So I think that somebody gave her my email address. I think somebody put her up to contacting me because she never had any interest in contacting me again. And I had tried to find her and I couldn't find her. And so basically what happened was she said she wanted us to be best friends again. And she said she wanted me to phone her every single day. And she wanted me to go visit her. And so we were talking on the phone every day. And one of the things that she told me was she didn't want me to go visit my mother, which I didn't listen to her. I did visit my mother. And, well, I was supposed to go to Venice, you know. But she wanted me to go visit, didn't want me to visit my mother. She told me I was weird. She told me all kinds of other things. And we talked on the phone for about a month. And I was so, because I thought, I had always considered her a sister to me. And then basically, whenever I talked about her to people, I always spoke very highly of her. And I talked about all the things that we did together. But I guess all the time that we spent together meant nothing to her. And so after a month, she broke up with me. She said that basically she had this really dark energy surrounding her, and she had to go take a bath because she had this really dark energy surrounding her. And she broke up the friendship the day before I was supposed to go to Aberdeen to see my Iranian boyfriend. And then it was really strange because when she left, you could see her. She broke up the friendship, and you can see her, and then she ran directly to her computer. And it was a very terrible situation because, you know, I'd just been in touch with my best friend, who I thought was my best friend. And then after a month of talking on the month, she just said basically that she wasn't going to be my sounding board, but I was her sounding board. And so she didn't want to be my friend anymore because she had this really dark energy following her around from talking to me. And then she broke up, and then she sent me these messages telling me she's never going to contact me again. She's never going to contact me again. And I couldn't understand why she was doing that. I couldn't understand what was going on. But I did. I was so heartbroken that I did try to get in touch with her. And I emailed her friend that she wanted me to meet and told him what was going on. And then her sister emailed me, not her sister, her daughter emailed me. And I just said at some point she's not going to be able to take care of herself. And then her sister blocked me. And then, so basically, just as soon as she had come back into my life, she left. And I think that was done. I don't think that she found my email address. I think if she couldn't even remember my name, didn't even know my name, there's no way she found my email address, because I didn't even have an email address when I knew her. I got the email address after she broke up with me before, you know. And so I think that somebody gave her my email address and told her to contact me. And I think it was people from Foster Wheeler that did it. And it was a terrible situation for me to be in. And then she just broke up the friendship just as soon as, and I tried really hard to stay friends with her, but she didn't want to. And one of the things that made her mad was that I had emailed her friend and told her friend what she had done. She didn't like that because she didn't want people knowing what she'd done. And then so whenever I was trying to email her, trying to stay friends, all of my emails were jumbled up. And all the words were jumbled up, and you couldn't make sense of the email. And she was saying that she couldn't make sense of the emails that I was sending. She said, one, she couldn't be my friend anymore because I had to work. So basically, the idea was to get it to where I wasn't working anymore. But I couldn't not work. I had to work. So these people were trying to get me to lose my job. And then, in addition to that, she said that the emails were jumbled up and she couldn't make sense of the emails. She couldn't make sense of the words and things like that. And so that was the beginning of people from Foster Wheeler trying to say I was mentally ill. That was the beginning of them portraying a picture of me as being mentally ill, as saying I couldn't even send an email, which was not true, because I sent emails and sent emails in that job all day long, and I send emails now in my current job. So it's just not true. Those emails had been manipulated. And as I said before in a previous video, when I was in Prospect Park, they said, oh, there's no software package that can change an email after it's been sent. That may be true, but somebody can hack into your email account and they can send an email on your account. You also have the ability to recall emails. They can recall an email. You can, because I recall emails. If I send an email and I think, oh, I forgot to do this or I forgot to do that, I'll recall the email. So they can recall the email. Somebody can hack into your email and send emails on your behalf. So I'm not aware of all the things that criminals can do, but I know that they can do a lot with emails. And so for the people at Prospect Park to say I was crazy just because I was complaining about the emails, and them to say, oh, well, there's not any software that can change an email after it's been sent, that's too simplistic, because people can hack into your account and they can send emails from your account. That happens all the time. People can block. They can block your account. They can, if you try to send an email, they can go through and recall that email so you can't send it anymore. There's all kinds of things they can do. And for a Prospect Park psychiatrist to say, oh, there's no software that can do that, how do they know? Have they decided to get involved in IT? Do they know? Do they know? You know, only thing they know about is psychiatry, and they don't know that much about it because they don't help that many people. I think they hurt more people than they help. So yeah, so that was the first instance of people trying to say I was mentally ill because the emails coming out of my account were jumbled, and I didn't jumble them. I didn't send them. And they were trying to say I was mentally ill because of that. And it's just not true, because I sent emails from work. But I do think it was people from Foster Wheeler that did it. I don't know their motivation. I think that it was financially motivated, but it could have been done just because they were sick. But the thing is that Foster Wheeler, the company, definitely was behind it all. And I know they were behind it all because of the response that I got whenever I made a grievance. Because if Foster Wheeler, the company, wasn't behind it, they would have investigated it, but they didn't investigate it. It was just a terrible experience for me. And that's why I realized that Foster Wheeler, the company, was ultimately behind it. Yeah, they got members of staff to do it, to get involved in the harassment. That's true. And the members of staff, they were on payroll, so they were in essence being paid to do it. But Foster Wheeler was directing them to do these things. And I think Foster Wheeler did it for financial reasons, because I was the affiliate coordinator. I was the only person in the company that did that job. I was single. I didn't have any dependents. Not in the UK anyway. And I was a perfect person for them to terrorize, traumatize, and ultimately demise. And so, yeah, I just think that this friend, I think that she was approached by Foster Wheeler. I don't know if they offered her money to do it. I can't understand why she would do that to a friend, but she did. So I don't know if they offered her money or if they said, if you go along with this, we will give you a cut in the payout that we're going to get. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but she never wanted to have anything to do with me after that. And so I think that somebody contacted her, gave her my email address, and told her to contact me. And then the emails I received from her indicated that she wanted to marry me, which I didn't want to marry her, but she wanted to marry me. And so it was just a really terrible, horrendous situation. And you know, I never got to the bottom of what happened. I think that since she didn't even know my name, and I got my email address after we were not friends anymore, I think that people from Foster Wheeler contacted her and got her to do it. And I don't know if they offered her money or what. I can't imagine why she would do that to a friend. But I've talked over 21 minutes, so I'm going to have to conclude this video. Thank you so much for listening. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. And I'll be making other videos for you about my cancer journey very soon.